Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here and welcome back to our King of the Cruiserweight tournament. We are back now with our first matches of the quarterfinals. The first round has been pretty interesting. We've seen some big surprises and we've seen some obvious wins as well, I suppose. But now we start off with the quarterfinals. As you can see, we're going to start off with bracket 1 with Rich Swann versus Pete Dunn and Will Ospreay versus Mark Andrews. And of course we will finish off with one of our quarterfinals from bracket number 2. So without further ado, let's get straight into Rich Swann versus Pete Dunn. And here we go. So looking forward to this one, of course. Rich Swann defeated the self-proclaimed King of the Cruiserweights in the opening round of this tournament. And Pete Dunn defeated Rey Mysterio Jr. So both of these guys picked up major scalps in the first round. And one of them will go on into the semi-finals to face off against the winner, of course, of Will Ospreay and Mark Andrews. I'm looking forward to this, actually. I was surprised when Rich Swann defeated Neville. I was also surprised when Pete Dunn won. But as I said with Pete Dunn in the first episode, Pete Dunn, for me, I'm willing to give Pete Dunn massive opportunities in this universe mode. I'm a big fan of Pete Dunn. I think he is the future of pro wrestling. And I want to give him those chances, but I don't want to just hand it over to him. I want him to earn it. And that win against Rey Mysterio Jr. could just be the first step in the dominant run of Pete Dunn. The dominant run of Pete Dunn. Nice little rhyme there. But of course now it is Rich Swann in his way. The best thing about this tournament now for these two guys is they both know they've gained the 5 points for winning the first round. So the winner of this one is going to end up with another 5 points. The loser will end up where they started. So at least you know you're not going to lose any points. And of course, there was... how many people are there? There was 12 people that got knocked out in the first round. All those 12 people are now 5 points less in the ranking. So it's been a good... anyone who's got through has managed to get themselves a lot higher than the rest of the guys in the in their roster, really. I'm babbling on about crap now, aren't I? But there you go. Pete Dunn. You know what? My dark horse for this one, I think, Pete Dunn. For the entire tournament. We've seen some big names in there. We've seen some big names knocked out already. But yeah, Pete Dunn for me, he's just... I think guys like Ospreay are the favourites to win this one. But Pete Dunn, I think, has just got that dark horse status. And who knows, another win here against Rich Swann could really force him into that picture. But like I've said, I am quite willing to give Pete Dunn an opportunity at the Octane Championship, should he so deserve it. And I think he will at some point. Of course, he's a major star across the UK and America now, I suppose. He's starting to get more bookings here and there, isn't he, really? But held the Progress Championship as well as ICW. A lot of other... has he held the ICW? I don't know, actually. He's definitely holding the Progress Championship, and the United Kingdom Championship now as well. And I would love to see him at some point get an opportunity in our Octane brand to show exactly what he can do. Maybe European Championship, maybe even, like I said, the main event Octane Championship as well. We'll give him an opportunity. We'll see how it gets on. Just like Will Ospreay, of course, over on Adrenaline. He's been given the opportunity and he's got himself inside that Money in the Bank ladder match. So Will Ospreay could be forced his way a bit higher up the card over on Adrenaline as well. Now this is a Adrenaline versus Octane match. Of course, Octane being represented by the Bruiserweight and Adrenaline being represented by Rich Swann. So a little bit of bragging rights here for myself and PJ Tovey in this one. As Rich Swann now bringing Pete Dunn back up and wrench him back at the arm. And Rich Swann looking a little bit more technical here. Not what we know him for. We know him as a great high flyer. Technical wrestling is not something we come to know. But a lot of these cruiserweights are fantastic at what they do, of course. They have a lot of different things to ask. That's one thing I noticed with the Cruiserweight Classic that WWE did. Essentially, a lot of those matches were won by submission. I think it's just the size WWE went for, not necessarily the style, isn't it? But you've got guys like Noam Dar and Zack Sabre Jr., of course, both are very, very prolific cruiserweight and technical wrestlers. And it's a wise move by Rich Swann, knowing that Pete Dunn likes to utilise some pretty strong and aggressive tactics by weakening the arms and the legs. Maybe that might reduce the amount of damage that Pete Dunn could do to Rich Swann. Pete Dunn now with a quesadora over the top rope. Dropping a boot into the knee of Rich Swann. And again, a clever move there by Pete Dunne, weakening the legs of Swann. We know Swann is very much well known for his vertical leap as well. He could do a standing 450 or that leap up to do the Frankensteiner as well. So doing damage to the legs of Rich Swann is a clever way for Pete Dunne to go. But Swann is now catching Pete Dunne with the crossbody. Such a good crossbody. The sirens are raining in already. But it is only enough for a 2 count. Remember, the winner of this one, like I said earlier on, will face off against the winner of Will Ospreay and Mandrews. And the winner of that one will guarantee themselves a place in the main event of our upcoming King of the Cruiserweight pay-per-view for a chance to become the King of the Cruiserweights. Of course, that will be a triple threat match, that will, between the winners of bracket 1, 2 and 3. Pete Dunne now launching Rich Swann to the outside, and this is where Pete Dunne is definitely going to be a bit more comfortable. I think when it comes to brawling, but Pete Dunne sending Rich Swann straight back in the ring. Obviously knows that he's got him in a position that he could finish this match off, so brings him back into the ring. Step up into Guri right to the back of the head of Rich Swann, and now Pete Dunne up on the middle rope, taunting the crowd. Maybe not the best idea. We know Rich Swann is more than capable of coming back into this one, and Pete Dunne does not want to give him the opportunity to do that. As he catches Swann, takes him up, and there it is. That's how he got himself into this quarterfinal. Is it enough to get him into the semi? 2 and 3, and it is. Pete Dunne advances on to the semi-finals of the King of the Cruiserweight tournament, defeating Rich Swann. So we're going to get an all-English semi-finals. We know we're definitely going to get an Englishman in... Oh, no, I take that back. Sorry, I take it back. I apologise. Don't get me. We're guaranteed a British wrestler in the final now. Of course, it depends on what happens between Ospreay and Mandrews. Of course, Mandrews is Welsh. But Pete Dunne, fantastic for him, defeating Rich Swann. Rich Swann did well to get into the second round. Defeating Neville is a big scalp for him. But of course, he's gained 5 points for beating Neville. And then he has lost 5 points for losing here. So it's not really affected him too much this tournament. But Pete Dunne is on a warpath here. And it's Ospreay or Mandrews next. And here we go. This should be a cracking match. As I said a few days ago, should I say, when we had the opening rounds, Mandrews and Ospreay is a match that I have seen many times live in the UK, and they perfected it. It was outstanding. Possibly the best set of matches I think I've seen live. I think they had a best of 3 series in the end, and they were just absolutely incredible. And we're going to get a chance to see some more here. And of course, they took that best of 3 series across the pond to America, and of course they battled in the first round of the Battle of Los Angeles a couple of years ago as well. It's amazing, isn't it? You look at that Battle of Los Angeles first round match, and now one of the guys is working New Japan, the other one's WWE. It's great when you think about it, isn't it? And Mark Andrews is a very good signing for WWE when you think about it, because he's a cross-platform. He's a little bit like, not at the level of Chris Jericho, obviously, but he's got his band and everything as well. He's got quite a few different markets he appeals to. He's got his skateboard, he's got his band, he's a high-flying wrestler. He's definitely a pretty good signing for WWE to get, and from the nose of TNA, really. Not quite sure whether Mandrews left TNA under his own accord or whether TNA got rid of him. I'm not quite sure, but either way, it's been pretty good for WWE, and I'm hoping that guys like Mandrews and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate and Trent Seven and Wolfgang, those 5, would be on 2K18 without any DLC or anything. That's what I'm hoping for. Whether that happens or not is a different story, but I think it should do. The thing is, the UK Championship is a major championship now for I say major. The UK Championship is a championship now for WWE. So why would it not be on the game? You've got 5 guys they push quite strongly in that division, so they should be on the game as well. But I've got a feeling that one of the DLCs is going to end up being the UK Championship DLC. I can just feel it coming, and it'll be the belt, and it'll be those 5 wrestlers. I can feel it. It's going to happen, or maybe even the pre-order bonus. But if it's the pre-order bonus, well, obviously the pre-order bonus is is Kurt Angle. We know that. But if it was, you know what I did last year? They had the special edition pre-order bonus, and we got the NXT guys. Maybe they'll do that for the UK guys, which I wouldn't be too much against. If they're going to do it DLC-wise, I would rather get it on the day of release, because I will get the special edition, which I believe is going to be around about £100, I believe. I will get that, and hopefully we'll get everyone we need, because the thing is, the more people we have on the game, the less cores I have to get, the more cores we can then use for other people, if that makes any sense. So a lot of the Cruiserweight guys are now going to be on there. We're going to have a much bigger NXT roster, I would hope, and then we're going to have a bigger UK roster as well. So I think this year is definitely going to be in our advantage. It's going to have to be the biggest roster in history, and it's going to have to be quite considerably the biggest roster. And I don't know whether they can do that without taking up too much space for the game, whether we might end up losing a chunk of legends to have the more up-to-date wrestlers in there, but I think a few of the legends are pretty, I wouldn't say useless, but I don't know how many people out there are really that interested in having Larry Zbyszko in the game. Like, I don't mind Arn Anderson so much because I can use him for storylines, so forth, with Octane and that sort of thing we're doing. But apart from that, Larry Zbyszko, I don't think I've ever used him, and it's nice having Earthquake and Typhoon on the game, but are they really, I don't know. Thing is, if you look at it, would you say you'd rather have Earthquake and Typhoon, or would you rather have Akam and Rezar, the Authors of Pain? And I think for the casual wrestling fan, or even me actually, I think I'd rather have the Authors of Pain on the game. So it's a tricky one. It all depends on what they can fit on, I suppose. Because I'm struggling with my PlayStation, it is now. I'm running out of space quite rapidly on my PlayStation. I'm going to have to start deleting more stuff off, so if we end up with a game that's even bigger in size, I could be in trouble. Dropkick to the back of the head there by Will Ospreay. But I have got some pretty massive games on there, I suppose. I have to start thinking about deleting stuff like Fallout 4, because we've completed that now, haven't we? Red Arrow there by Will Ospreay, which is not his finishing move, but he did use that last match. Maybe I've not got it set up right, and that is, whoa, Will Ospreay almost through. Ospreay, it's supposed to be the inverted 450, I think. And the 630. Oh, there you go. There's the senton. So maybe I was right there. Maybe the senton is right. And there we go. Will Ospreay makes his way through. So it is me, Will Ospreay, versus Pete Dunn in the semi-finals. We are guaranteed an Englishman inside the final three. Pete Dunn versus Will Ospreay. My God, that semi-final is going to be awesome. And of course, it is going to be coming up for you in a few days' time. Where are we now? It's going to come up for you in 4 days' time. So we've got another set, of course, of semi-finals coming, quarterfinals coming up in a couple of days' time. And then we've got the semi-final matches coming up a couple of days after that. And then, of course, we have the King of the Cruiserweights final, which is going to be amazing. And Mandrews is unfortunately going to have to leave us in this tournament. But like I said, the King of the Cruiserweight pay-per-view we're going to be putting on to finish this tournament is going to have quite a lot of big showcase matches. And you never know who might be popping up. Maybe we might even give an opportunity to a few unsigned names to potentially fight for their place on the roster, maybe? Maybe like a Dead Man Boots sort of situation. Ooh, man, that's a good idea for a special, isn't it? That is a good idea for a pay-per-view. That's just hit me. But there we go. That is the 2 quarterfinals from bracket number 1. Let's now head over to bracket 2 and see what is going to be next. And here we go. It's time for our next quarterfinal. Big one, this one. Of course, we have got Christopher Daniels, who defeated Juventud Guerrera in the first round, taking on Akira Tozawa, who defeated Ricochet. That's big. That is bloody big. When you defeat Ricochet, that is bloody big. And it makes you wonder just what we have got on offer here. This could be this could literally be a massive, massive night once again for Akira Tozawa. I said he was one of our sort of dark horses. I think Daniel was probably another one of the favourites, potentially. I keep saying that every single match is a favourite for the tournament. You never know, do you? You never bloody know. But Christopher Daniels is, again, Christopher Daniels is a similar sort of guy where you don't really, I don't really know where to fit him in. Of course, Christopher Daniels is part of our Octane roster. I have got him, oh god, so my computer's just kicked in. I have got him scheduled in a couple of weeks' time in a Fatal 4 match to earn the right to face off against the the European champion, Jack Gallagher. So that'll be interesting. And you know what? I feel that if Tozawa was to lose here, I still believe he deserves something. And maybe when it comes to our King of the Cruiserweight final in a couple of 2 or 3 days' time, well, 4 or 5 days' time, we might have to give Tozawa some sort of special match. Maybe allow him to fight for the #1 contendership or even fight for the championship. We'll have to see what happens. I think he deserves it. After that win against Ricochet. Ricochet, possibly one of the biggest names that we have to offer in Adrenaline. It's just it's a big win. It really was. Massive win. Christopher Daniels there, big boot into the gut of Tozawa, but Tozawa, can he follow up? That's the big question. Anybody can get a big win. It's not difficult to get a big win. It is difficult to get a big win, but the more difficult thing is to back that big win up with another victory. That's what you need to do. That's the way this Universe mode is going to work. You get the points, you continue on. Because, of course, winning the first round is great. You get 5 rankings points, but if you lose here, you lose them 5 ranking points. So you sort of end the tournament off exactly where you started. It's getting past this point is where you know you're going to come out of this on a profit points-wise. At the moment, we know, of course, that Pete Dunne and Will Ospreay are both already racking up the points. Both making their way through to the semi-finals of bracket #1. It's Christopher Daniels just backing away into a corner now. Feeling a bit cheeky by the looks of it. Forearm to the back of Tozawa. Now drags Tozawa out into a backbreaker. Lovely move there by Christopher Daniels, who is firmly in control of this match at the moment. And I have checked. I've checked Christopher Daniels' moveset, as I said I was going to. And it is actually correct. He does have the Koji clutch in there, but it is as a signature move. He does have the correct finisher maneuver. So I think I thought someone had been a bit lazy and just literally just dumped Sami Zayn's moveset onto Christopher Daniels, but somebody has done it correctly. As Tozawa willing Daniels back up to his feet, and Tozawa catches him with a springboard frog splash crossbody. Daniels fighting out with the elbow to the face of Tozawa, followed it through with a running STO. Then into wait for a springboard splash and completely missed Akira Tozawa. Daniels staying down, not quite sure whether it's down to taking damage or whether it's just down to being purely embarrassed by that. It's possible it could have gone either way, really. Tozawa now grabbing Daniels in a fisherman suplex. We know Tozawa really dominated that first round solely because of the amount of German suplexes he caught on Ricochet, and eventually one of them with a bridge was enough to keep Ricochet down. Tozawa now locking in the head scissors on Christopher Daniels, and I do plan on uploading another video today, by the way. It might already be up. A little shabby talk based on some information we got on 2K18 yesterday, so definitely be sure to check out that if you've not seen it already. There's some interesting new things that have been announced about 2K18 already, and it's still quite new, so we don't know a lot about it, but the stuff that we do know about it already looks very impressive, and I'm pretty happy with what I know. But I'm sure as time goes on, we'll find out even more and more information. But yeah, if you want to know any of that sort of information that has been leaked already, or not leaked, it's been announced already, then do, of course, check that video out. Akira Tozawa with a back senton there on Christopher Daniels. Now the DDT and the leg of Daniels into the mat. Painful looking maneuver. Tozawa stamping on the chest of Daniels. And Daniels with the arm breaker. Tozawa fighting back. Is he going to go for it? Well, I thought he might be going for the Chaos Theory German, which he did very well with in that first round. Big, strong knee to the face of Christopher Daniels. That looked painful, but Daniels fighting back. Catching Tozawa with the slide to the head, and there is the twisting. Is that the... I can't remember what it's called. That is one of Daniels' finishing maneuvers. I'm sure one of his retro finishing maneuvers from TNA. I'm sure it was. I can't remember what it was called. Angel's Wings? No, the Angel's Wings was the other one, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was. But Daniels has to continue the fight. Big kick to the chest of Akira Tozawa, now lining Tozawa up. Boot in the gut. Into that sit-out front flat DDT. There's the pin. This could be enough to put Daniels through to the semis. 1, 2, and oh, Tozawa kicked out again. Akira Tozawa has been so impressive during this King of the Cruiserweight tournament. Showing not only fantastic aggression, but incredible resilience here as well. Catching Daniels, takes him up. Daniels fights his way free from the suplex. And now catches Akira Tozawa into the Koji clutch now as well. Is Tozawa going to tap? It's possible. He's taking a lot of damage to the neck, and he does tap out. And Christopher Daniels makes his way into the semi-finals of the King of the Cruiserweight tournament. My word, what a match this was. Akira Tozawa's really put everything on the line this tournament so far to prove how good he is. And you know what? I think we should reward him for that. And I think in a few days' time we will reward him for that. We'll see. When it comes around to the King of the Cruiserweight tournament final, which is of course going to be uploaded. It's going to be uploaded, I think, in a few days' time. It's uploaded. I've lost my piece of paper. I found it. It's on the inside the room. Right. It's going to be uploaded on Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be uploaded on Sunday. So, yeah. Be sure to check that out. That's going to be, of course, the final of the King of the Cruiserweight tournament. There's going to be a full 7-match card focusing on the Cruiserweights. There's going to be some gold up for grabs, I'm sure. And, of course, the winner of the King of the Cruiserweight will be crowned as well. But what a win this is for Christopher Daniels. He goes on to face off against the winner of Kalisto and Hiromu Takahashi, which will be opening our very next episode of the King of the Cruiserweight tournament. Should we show you the there's the winner to show you the brackets. You know what the brackets look like. They're pretty simple at the moment. Daniels in the semis and Kalisto and Takahashi in the quarters waiting to meet Daniels. So that is the end of this episode of the King of the Cruiserweight tournament. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, then please do slap the like button and subscribe for more. We've got some more King of the Cruiserweights coming up for you in a couple of days' time, and that will be that Kalisto versus Takahashi match, along with the 2 quarterfinals from bracket number 3 as well. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon for some more SWE Universe Mode.